Welcome to Listen Up Podcast with your host, Natasha Player. It gives me great pleasure this week to invite Vrushali Hairhar, where we'll be getting under the radar. Under the radar is an opportunity to hear hidden voices, diverse hidden voices from across the Southwest. So welcome, Vrushali. Welcome to Listen Up Podcast. Is a mother, a wife, and she's super passionate about Bollywood dance and Indian culture and connecting with her community. Today the theme is Under the Radar, and I just want to share some stories with Vrushali and just unpack those stories for people that might not necessarily be heard on a podcast, and for her to have the opportunity to share her insights into what's going on at the moment in the world. Welcome, Vrushali. How are you?
I'm all good. Thank you, Natasha. Very good morning to you. And yes, super excited to talk to you in this different way because it's been wonderful. Whenever I spoke to you, meet you, it has been lovely time. And I really like talking to you, Natasha. So I was really looking forward towards it. For me, I think I met you at Pavilion Dance,
Hmm.
and there it started. And what I saw in you is a very patient, very passionate person, very connected person. I should admit that I learned a lot from you, Natasha. So I'm
Hmm.
excited to talk to you. I'm very excited.
Me too. I am super excited to welcome you to this podcast and Zoom interview, and just for us to hang out really and chat. It's been wonderful to get to know you over the past year or two. It's coming up probably nearly 2 years now. And like you say, the connections there with Pavilion Dance Southwest. So I just want you to kind of set the context really of how you come to be in Bournemouth, your journey here, if you don't mind just unpacking that a little bit, and maybe a bit about your own cultural background, if that's okay.
Yeah, definitely. I'm born and brought up in India. I'm a science graduate person. Then I did diploma, this and that. But I joined my husband after my marriage here. It has been now 18 years. He is also born and brought up in India. Yet he's working, as a IT consultant. So obviously, that time 20 years back, the world was flowing all over for that type of jobs and opportunities, and that's how I'm here. And it has been now my UK second home, I call it. So the India, which I'm so much passionate about, that's my heart. And the second home is now UK because my children are born here. So this is how I'm here, and the journey in the UK has been wonderful. Wonderful. All last 18 years have given me all type of experiences, and I think that is what made me what I am today. I'm happy about everything, in the life.
Yeah, it's really interesting, isn't it? How by coming to another country and settling in it, how you draw from your own cultural background, and then how you are influenced by where you are in the world. You know, so whether you're going
Correct, correct.
from the UK and going to live abroad, um, you take that suitcase of your identity with you, but then at the same time you're adding, parts of it, like a new dress or a new some new type of food to mix in with what the type of food that you like already, and I find that fascinating. I think it's because I'm mixed race myself. I have an South African mother and a white British father, and so it's been always natural to me is to draw from different different cultures as I've gone on. And then, as an adult, it's been um, traveling around the world and drawing from those cultures. And India's been one of them. It was a great, influence in my life at a certain time in my 20s, mid 20s. And I was able to just, yeah, take it all in, really. Spent a year in India and just soaking up all the kind of broad variety that India has to offer, and the extremes and the diversity among there as well, which I've always found fascinating. So you just talked to me about your children, that they're born here and grew up here. So how has one, let's start with, how is homeschooling going? You know, we've been in lockdown with COVID-19. How have they been in this, you know, in this time with you all being at home together?
Yes, I think on the 8th March, we celebrated Women's Day, Natasha. And that day, we got the news that Bournemouth has two positive cases. And that started, it all started there, mixed emotions, stress, fear, what to do, what not to do. The supermarket empty. And then in 1 week's time, children were home. And the fear was when they were going to school, but when they came, I tell you, that evening was emotional for me. I felt the uncertainty when they will go back to school, they will be missing their friends and all that, how I will be cooking, because I haven't had much at home. And supermarkets that time, people in panicking, they made it all empty. But it slowly settled down. We it was all too much at that time. And then when family was in front of you, nothing was important more than that. Yeah, the pain was there looking at all whole world. But yes, then the online schooling, the teachers were taking so much effort. And trust me, apart from the sibling fighting noises, including me in that, it was all fine. It was all fine. No complaints at all. Children been busy doing homeworks. They've been playing together. They've been fighting, as I mentioned. But it was complete family time, I would say. It was, not very hard. My younger one, we have to manage him, to make him sit, make him, open computer and start his homework. But yet I would say, looking at the situation that time, they didn't much say, thankfully. But yes, as any other household woman, I also went through the same, cooking 4 times. The household was double, triple, and yet, you're not understanding what's happening around you. So it was quite a emotional roller coaster that time.
Yeah.
And yeah, uncertainty scared us that time. Yeah.
So yeah, that uncertainty that you're talking about, you know, like you say, we're coming out of it now, but those first few weeks was quite intense for lots of families, and I'm just really interested in what people draw from to get them through that kind of uncertainty and that instability that's happening all around them in society, that creates the fear, um, and then how do they kind of ground themselves and make them feel resilient and strong again to be able to move forward. So did you have any practices, or did you have to dive into yourself and look inward? What was that like? Could you just, yeah, give me an insight into that?
Yeah, there were two things parallelly going on. First, it was so much of confusion and uncertainty. I'm talking, and I'm thankful. I'm very religious person. That I have, and the religion takes you to the faith. Faith can be anything. You just have to believe into something, and that gives you hope. So when things are not in your control, or say I in on my control, then I surrender, complete surrender, and then I let it to that, faith, whichever way you believe in, God, whatever way you believe in that. So now I left it to God, and that takes you to the spirituality. So religion and spirituality are different, two different things. Religion is something, you should give it away. You surrender when things are not, can't fix it. Then bring the spirituality in, calm yourself down. And parallelly, then when the things were settling, I was slowing down with all that confusion. I saw the people were in need for food, for elderly people. So were groups working on, they were supporting them. So in, gradually I also came out of that, all family fear, the all the deaths going on. And then I thought, okay, there is, the people are surviving too, and we have to look into it. Though I did not do personally myself physically into anything, I tried to connect to people where they can get help. There was mainly the university students, the elderly people who they wanted cooked, and my spirituality that could calm me down and made me believe into something that, and it's always positive, that gives you hope, and hope is what human live with. So yeah, that's been my journey.
Yeah, I find it really interesting how, as humans, as human beings, we're very vulnerable, and when change happens, and it's how we adapt to that, not necessarily the fight of the fittest or anything, but just the different routes that people take in establishing themselves back in the world. Whether that's where they go inward, and they take care of themselves and they get that self care that's needed. Um, they draw from something positive because there's a lot of negativity, or whether you take care of your family. Some people just step right out there and go, okay, I need to help these people, and they start rescuing and supporting, and we saw that quite a lot, but there's no right or wrong. Everybody just has their way of what's right for them at that moment in time. What are your reflections and thoughts on the impact of your community that you could share with us?
I think, Natasha, they have been great. I tell you, there are always, who they are in the front end, and in there, some are in the back end. Both parties are equal. Few people been constantly working for, serving people. I tell you, they were cooking, they were collecting food, they were, looking if people are in any need or something like that. And on the front end, who they are, they looked into how we can bring in together all people, maybe arrange a singing program, or cooking competition, or children's entertainment. So the community, I have seen, they are very well connected, rather much better than when they were not in lockdown, and they are speaking, they're telling what they want. It gives you a peace of mind. Sit and speak what you want. This is where, the lockdown has given that. And rather than once, if there is an event, whole 100 to 500 people get together, and they don't get the right chance, opportunity to speak to people. But this has given opportunity, and we saw so many talents singing, or maybe dancing, and even cooking. Youngest to eldest, elder people, they've been, doing something and representing. I think, yes, community was well connected. There were two sides, one back, one front, and back end, front end, equally important, equally important. Yeah, it has been great, looking what they have been doing last 2 months. Some people have taken exceptional efforts for that to be connected, entertained, serving. Yeah, I really salute them.
Isn't that fascinating that through lockdown people have become more connected? They've had to be much more innovative and creative in how they stay connected with each other. Um, that just, I think that I'm seeing that within our local communities, but also how we engage internationally as well, and how we're spending a lot more time on a laptop or on our phone, but it means that we're watching things that we might not necessarily watch, or we're coming up with ideas that we wouldn't necessarily have the opportunity to do. So even though we're presented with this like wartime feeling of locking down and restrictions in our everyday life, it's really opened up how we connect with each other and created new pathways to connect, which I find fascinating. The things that I'm learning online has really opened up my mindset. It's opened up the opportunity of my creativity. If it wasn't for this, I wouldn't be doing this podcast with you, you know. So it's good just to, you know, take what we've learned and see how we can apply it in our everyday, and, you know, do things differently and hear things in a different way that we might not necessarily hear as well.
It is definitely something that word should come out of, this color, caste, racism, whatever. But we all together make the world beautiful. I don't say that you and me or they are same. No, we are different, and that's why the world is beautiful. So let's keep our identity intact. We do not compare with each other because we are totally different. Think about a word with similar pattern, one single. Will it look beautiful? No.
Mm.
But make yourself beautiful, more beautiful by what you are, how you are, and that is the real message I think should go out. Look, every life matters, every single, just like George Floyd, every single life, whether it is animal, plant, any human who are, in pain at the minute. I saw a video of child in Virginia somewhere. The police could not save, the building was on fire by rioters. That life did matter to me, Natasha. A man, a black man who was screaming, crying on the road. His business was getting looted. He said, I tried it. I was happy, why you're doing. And the people in front of him looting his,
Mm.
shop. And that life too matters to me. Every animal that is getting, killed somewhere in the world, that matters to me. Plant matters to me, because
Mm.
human is dependent upon nature. Everyone is important for human, and that all together makes the world beautiful. Take anything out, it will not be beautiful. So
Do
that's my
you,
message.
yeah, do you, what about, you know, rioting or having to, people are in a position to that they feel they need to be aggressive because of the suppression or not being heard, you know. I've always been amazed in India from when I was there that the amount of protests that used to go on, and a lot of the time they were female led protests. You know, going out there in a sense of peace. India is always for the extremes of how you feel about the country. It's always fascinated me that they were on the streets protesting for inequalities that were going on in the country. At the time, this was 20 years ago, there were more women in parliament in India than there was in the UK, you know? So the extremities that go on there, the negativity that you see in the press, to actually the positive steps that are going on in a sense of female, um, there is a place for protest, whether that's peaceful protest or whether that's more aggressive. Some things do get taken over by other propaganda and things like that, you know, to put that. But the essence of that protest, whether it's right or wrong, sometimes people feel that they need to create a voice to be heard, and sometimes that route is taking a more aggressive route. I'm for peaceful protest, but you know, sometimes some people do need to, you know, step up and kind of make that it's another a way, you know. Me and you are quite joyful and positive people, and the way that we go about our business, you know, and then there's other people that would that step up to create a louder noise in a different way, you know, and that might be more aggressive. But what I'm trying to see is what's the how in India do people protest there, and what things do they protest about that's close to your heart?
See, India is a country of 130 million people, and so much of diversity, so many religion, caste, so many ideologies, everything together. One stands with their opinion, and the protests happen, the riots to happen. It's not different world at all. But yes, it is. I don't find that right that getting your opinion heard or justified by doing something wrong to others or letting down and then rise. I believe in rising parallelly than letting down someone. And then you are there. There's someone else is gone down. That's it. you rise parallelly. Is what I believe. So every voice should be heard. And I am not angry that the riots happened or the someone is broken, looting thing, burning. No, it is their anger, their outrage which is coming out, but has to have the right direction to take it. That power, that strength should be used to justify the real cause, the real reason
Mm,
of it. So unity is the power, Natasha.
mm,
Unity is the when you all come to, and you see the protesters, they are all mixed. They're
mm,
not only the protester of one particular color. So if that is happening on the other side, when we say the security, the police of the society, they only who they should be protecting people, they became the reason of this all thing. No, there are good police as well. So
mm,
in that outrage, we should not do something wrong and get
mm,
ask justification for what what's wrong happened.
mm,
So for me, protesting is important. Your voice should be heard, but you should be going in the right direction. Whether you are loud, you are, silent, you are taking
mm.
candles and marching. No, you should be heard, and that comes with unity.
Yeah.
And unity comes when it is a right reason. So we are all with that, right thing, right cause. But yet I say, don't say we are all similar, we are all different,
Mm.
and that's why we are, beautiful. The world is beautiful.
Yeah.
Let's be what we are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a couple of things that have come out of that. So for me, when I even say India, I almost see India as a continent itself, that each district is its own country. So for example, like in, as we say, Africa, there's so many different countries and so many different cultures within there. Um, it's always felt to me that India is a continent in itself, because each from the Himachal Pradesh to down south, it's just to the east and the west. It varies so much. There are so much extremes just in nature, climate, people, rituals that go on. It's so rich. Another thing that's come out of what you're talking about is, that we're also individual, is that when we work together on the action group, so we brought together an action group that was from different people of the community. So there was from the Nigerian community, there was representation. There was somebody who was a producer from that produces reggae, a reggae festival. There was yourself. There were other people from the community. And one thing that came from when we were evaluating that process, which took place at Pavilion Dance Southwest, was that you were able to learn because of the difference, and that we could listen to one another because we all had different perspectives. We didn't come from the same culture, so there was nothing that was taken for granted. We kind of, our ears were listening a lot more, and I think that is true now with having more Zooms. We're having to listen to each other, even though we might know each other in the work sector or been meeting in the past. We're really having to tune in and listen. And I think from that then comes much more of a deeper understanding where somebody's coming from. And that, like you say, about building bridges of unity and solidarity. And I think that is something that is quite key to help us to move forward from the issues and the crisis that we're going through. Because both of these, whether it's COVID or having viruses or COVID and the Black Lives Matter, these are things that are not necessarily going to go away. They're things that have been happening and bubbling along, some for quite a while, some are quite new to the UK, but globally this has been going on for a while, and I just think that we need to think of the long term instead of the quick fix of how we help each other to come together to learn more deeper about one another, and then be able to support that change, because it's an ongoing change. I'd be really interested, because you have insights into culture and to your own society, and then moving into mainstream institutions and understanding how they work. through your dance work, through being part of the action group. What kind of wisdom can you share with that solidarity and unity, and whether it's opening up new discussions or however you feel? What kind of insights would you like to share?
Oh, yes, definitely. Natasha, that has given me the opportunity to meet different people, first of all, the pavilion dance Southwest. And that time also, I got one opportunity to talk about it. And I mentioned that unless you know a person nicely or closely, you don't know about him or her and you make an opinion. So once you know the person, you respect them.
Hmm.
We come with a diversity, and we everyone has those qualities to make word beautiful, as I said. And the wisdom I have taken is know others, respect others, and that will make this whole thing, black life matter, this life matter, that everyone, all lives matter. Know each other know each other very well, and then you will start respecting them. That way they are not different, the lives are not different. So that
Yeah.
is what I, the wisdom, and then that is how world will come together, is what I say. You first know rather than making an opinion. Why I felt bad about it, because I have my black friends who they felt bad,
Mm.
and then I did not like it because I like them. That doesn't make any difference to me what color, what caste, what creed. They, they are my people. So
Yeah.
have the bond between people to people, knowing people to
Mm.
people will reduce. It should come through hearts. There is not, even if a law and it is stamped. No, it is something heartfelt emotions
Mm.
that you feel for others, and that is it will that is where it will get justified one day.
Mm.
And for that, we don't need to be aggressive, we have to be only loving,
Yeah.
and that will return the love. That's it. That is what I know.
Yeah.
That is wisdom what I have taken, that know people, understand them, and then they have so much to tell us, share us,
Mm.
know about them. And once you know that, you respect. Likewise, when I came to this country, I did not celebrate Christmas. Before that, I used to go to my Christian friends and do that. Now I'm doing it myself, because I am on a journey to pick the positive out of it. Though I carry my luggage, my baggage from India, and I will not keep that away. That's my identity. I have to show it that I am Indian. But this has been such a wonderful thing, that I've been seeing all different type of people, and rather than being in a box, me, myself, you open, other people, and then it will be justified.
Mm. Beautiful. You come from a really open, receiving, welcoming space, and coming to the UK or being part of it, you're taking on elements of it. I'm really interested in unpacking how um, people that, whether they're in Dorset, whether they're in Bournemouth, whether they live in the north of a small community, how do they make those relationships? I'm quite naturally, I think, because I've traveled the world, used to going into other people's cultures, and feeling not uncomfortable, but just I'm inquisitive, so it's I'm like, wow, this is amazing, what's going on? Oh, let me taste this food, or let me explore this dance movement. How do people start to, that want to start relationships? How do they do that?
One single thing is, the culture brings you together
Mm.
first. What is culture? The values you brought up with, the similarities, the celebration, the way you live, that's your culture. And if you find the similar culture person, then it's very easy to, mingle, come together, celebrate it together. Yeah. And then your learning starts. Though, as you said, India is such a big country, that every 20 miles, the water changes,
Mm.
the taste changes. Every household has a different system of cooking also. So
Mm.
there it starts, and the way to heart is, they call it, from stomach. So when you are eating together, you are, you are
Mm.
enjoying together.
Mm.
So this is how the communities come together. Why it is community? Because they live similar, they enjoy the similar interest, and that is how they come. But then there are bunch of different communities. But at the end of the day, we are the whole. There is a saying in India, "Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam." At the end, the whole world is a family.
Mm, beautiful.
So the culture is made easier, living easier for us. So we should not be adamant about the things, rather get molded, share, be easy, open up.
Mm,
And that is how people come together. And yes, first thing is food. I'm a very foodie person. And then comes the music, the dancing. Yeah, that's entertainment. When you are at work, home, you are in a household. Why you come together? You
yeah.
come together to celebrate, to get entertained, to to make some memories, and music and food is indivisible part of that, for sure.
Food is at the center of my heart as well, so I think you've touched a really good point there. It's about
Yeah,
having fun, laughing together, and food can be a central point of coming together. I've had students in my house, they've come from around the world, and we sit down, one of them is from the Arab countries, and we would sit down on the floor and share a biryani together, and he would cook, and then my Spanish students would turn up and we'd share in different ways, and it really kind of opens up for me or for my children to see, how those cultural things can be, a cultural exchange can happen. And I think food is a big part of it. And I think,
correct.
because we have been so isolated at the moment, it's looking at solutions as we go forward, how to share those experiences. I'm waiting for the day of street parties where we all bring food to the
I
table.
know.
And just, like you're saying, your neighbor, your community become your family. It doesn't have to be far, because we're already going to have to build trust and move forward out of lockdown and start to integrate with people in a different way. We haven't been shaking hands or hugging anybody, for whatever your welcoming ritual is when you meet somebody. We've had to keep the distance. We cross the road when somebody's approaching us. Those things slowly will need to be addressed. And what a way is to, start that kind of relationship with sharing food and laughter, and just, getting to know your neighbor, a little bit more, and things like that, which, we've been supporting each other, but from a distance, and so it's how do we strengthen those relationships, and how do we use technology, I think you mentioned to me that people, you're doing cooking competitions, and people are doing cooking shows on TikTok, I've heard my daughter say, or just, all the different social platforms. So it doesn't have to always be in person if we have to move forward and address it, that it has to be from a distance. It's, how do we create those opportunities to come together and share food? I'm not sure if we can
Correct.
feed the spoon through the screen, but we can share how we make something,
Hey,
and
yeah.
empower people to do things that way. I just wanted to go through just to think about, move forward on your aspirations and inspirations for things that you've been engaging with and what you're looking forward to. I know that we in a separate talk you talked about going to live online exhibitions and being really inspired by how people are doing that, or anything else that you're looking forward to and inspired by, if you don't mind sharing a little bit of insight and
Yeah,
thoughts
yeah.
on that.
Definitely, Natasha. I think art, talent, or entertainment industry is one of the badly affected in COVID. Like
Yeah.
we hear the economic fall, this is closing, that is closing one of the industry. But the talented people, talent doesn't keep suppressed. They come up with the ideas. They are more creative people. At one point I was like thinking about this gadget, this media, this social media, and all this electronic life, where we are going to head, what our next generation will do. Press the button and the things will come. They are not going to be a human kind of thing. And trust me, I changed my mind now, because in this last 2 months, I think technology has been the blessing for the human being, for to connect the people, to see what people, and the talented people, they never stop. They come up. It is definitely a confusing time going on. What's next for them? But that can be innovative. It's just the time that we have to go, we have to sustain and progress, and things will come back to us. Saying that, with the lockdown, after 1 month or so, we quite been easier, slowing down on all that scary things around and stuff. We got time to connect to family people. And that time, I got opportunity to speak to my closest families, cousins, whom them I have not spoken to for so many years maybe. But after one or
Wow.
two things, I thought, what we are going to speak next time? We definitely wanted to speak with each other. Then I thought, okay, why not take a talent show? We don't know what their children doing, what they do, in general, what their passions are. And that talent show turned out to be really success, I tell you. And that there were 3 to 4 episodes of it now. And then parallelly, I attended 3 to 4 exhibitions. One is a poetry singing. Second is, I think, a photography by young children, and even the students from art and technology schools. And then I attended a painting exhibition. And then I attended a workshop last weekend only. It was a collage workshop. And trust me, it was wonderful. I did not expect that online things could work that way. I always believed meeting person to, of course, that has its own essence, its own charm, meeting in
Yeah.
person. But as we have no alternative, this was not bad. This was really good. That saved our time to travel, to see, and then, park and pay and so it was really nice. And fortunately, so many talented people that I am connected with, and I get the opportunities, to know that what's happening. So this time, I'm gaining more. I'm getting more. I have nothing much to maybe give out this time, because I'm trying to be on the ground with my own feet, stand strong with the situation. uh, I'm a very emotional person too. But this is all coming from all around the world, and I really appreciate the people, their talent, their innovative ideas, and they don't stop. So I truly believe the art, the entertainment industry is going to rise again, back again, with more and more, more ideas. Yeah, more ideas. So
So,
it's
have
wonderful.
these exhibitions been happening in the UK, or is this in India, or could you talk about globally as well? Is that
Mm,
how and who's been
yeah,
involved in that?
there has been 2 3 things which happened in the community, which is by nearby my places like county, Dorset, Southampton stuff. Then the exhibitions happened internationally. The talent shows happened in the families. So that has been given up. The yeah, it's quite wide open thing. It's quite reachable. Though it's a big huge world, we easily get connected to the through the technology. So it has been all three, locally,
Okay.
internationally, and just within the friends. So it was great. It was great.
Yeah, so that's really going to inform your practice moving forward. Do you have more aspirations for your dance work? You're very passionate about Bollywood or teaching. You have so much patience and knowledge and enthusiasm, about sharing your culture and sharing your dance styles. Um, will this inform your own practice? Is it opening it up, or yeah?
See, lot inspired me, and I'm aspiring lot, I can say, but I'm not limiting it to anything that I will do this or I will not do that.
Mm.
I'm keeping myself open. I'm going to welcome more, because life has taught, no recent thing has taught us that it's such an uncertain thing. We should not plan too much too hard. It will disappoint us. So what I'm thinking is, yes, I'm going to keep myself open, practice what I like, learn what people are doing in the situation, and then I'm open for everything. It's, yeah, dance has been my passion. I love it. I love teaching it more. So I think, yeah, and people, this is something that people will come back with. They want something, as a comic relief, stress relief, something. This is indivisible part of our life, apart from our household work. So this is not going to end anywhere. This will again rise as a need of a human, but I'm going to keep it, open, not limiting into some plan and have to implement it, keep it in a box. No,
Mm.
I'm going to see what I can do. I'm going to learn what I can do. And yes, I will be, there with moves and dance and meeting people, whether it is online or in person. I am keeping my fingers crossed.
Hmm. Well, I wish you lots of luck in that. I know that we've had a conversation about the Southwest Female Leadership Program, and I've always been inspired by your connections with community and whether and your cultures and your rituals that go on, and something like that program can really open up, your sense of opportunity or where you want to go with life. And I really think it's really interesting that you're saying that you don't want to think of one way, one box, that you're, open to exploring and being influenced. And you're in a really interesting place and a pivotal point, in your life where um, the opportunities are all there. I'm a firm believer that there's opportunities everywhere, and as we navigate that road, we're influenced by some certain elements. And what a great time that we've had to kind of reflect and be still, and to be actually, okay, what things do inspire me, where am I going to take this going forward. And so I'm really grateful for your insights into the journey that you've been on for the past 3 months. And I really wish you so much luck in where you want to take your, whether it's motherhood or whether it's, your identity within your career. And I look forward to, working with you, or being inspired by what you're creating. Is there anything else that you want to add, Vrushali, before we sign off from this interview?
Before we sign off, first of all, I will be, of course, thanks to you for giving me this opportunity. But yet, so I would like to say, tell people that don't rush, take your time, let it go. Don't, get desperate towards the thing. There is a lot going on in the world. Doctors are fighting for us, the security or the police are in busy sorting out the world. This is the time to leave the competition or self centered interest and walk with hands in hands. Help each other. And I'm sure that will bring out our potential, our capacity. We will come to know, if we help someone go out of the way, we will understand, oh, I'm much capable than what I thought. So leave the competition, leave the, self centered interest aside, come together as world is coming together. I trust, I so much believe, and then walk with hands in hands, and that will bring out every single person's potential out. If we can dream, then we can do it. We don't dream something that we don't do, isn't it? We always like to dream what we would like to do. So this is the time to, recollect yourself, give a time for others to sort it out, which is not in our control. Maybe every storm doesn't come to destroy, some storms come to make the paths clear. So I think the next generation or the people, we are going to be part of this history now, Corona, COVID-19. We are going to get our path more clear, more brighter. So what I'm believing in is tomorrow is more better, more brighter. Have faith, have trust, and just sustain, walk together. That is progress, and it will be success tomorrow. Don't lose hopes.
Oh, there's a lovely place to end there. Don't lose hope. Yeah. Well, there you have it. Under the Radar with Vrushali Hairhar. It gives me great pleasure to have interviewed her for a special edition of South Asian Heritage Month across the UK. This is your host, Natasha Player, signing off for Listen Up. Please sign up down below, subscribe. We'd love to hear your comments as well. Make sure that you subscribe to find out when the next series, the next episode of Listen Up podcast becomes available. Bye for now.